Thank you, Tom. Based on that introduction, I have a lot of explaining to do. Good afternoon, everyone. This is our third year. This does get more exciting, bigger, and also more relevant and more urgent every year. As Tom described, we do have an especially informative program for you this afternoon, and also just plain fun, honestly. I'd like to join Lisa in thanking our sponsors for helping us to make Powering the People possible again this year: Aclara, Copper Development Association, Ecova, Itron, Oracle, Silver Spring Networks, and ICF International. And then, as you heard on display next door in Innovation Alley, are terrific examples of what our industry's future holds, and in fact, what we and our customers are beginning to realize. And as Tom described, the panels we've organized the afternoon around are really going to be very, very stimulating. Bottom line is the future holds as much potential for the electric industry today, and especially for our customers, as Senator Wyden said, as it did when Thomas Edison laid the foundation for our electric-powered world more than 100 years ago. Innovation has always been at the core of this industry. One of our engineers, though, at Northwestern points out, whenever he hears the canard, and we've all heard it, that Thomas Edison would recognize today's industry. Well, that's not quite true. Thomas Edison got the ball rolling, but it would take an Albert Einstein to really recognize what the industry is doing today. In Edison's day, electrification, among other things, changed the world's sleep habits, and a lot of us still haven't caught up on that sleep. But it went on to change public safety, work, leisure, architecture, and social organization. And as you've heard, great challenges remain helping the rest of the world achieve those tremendous benefits. Now it's changing communications, and communications is changing our sector as well, and it's beginning to change transportation. It was exciting to ride over from the EEI meeting in one of the vehicles that is in fact even changing fleets for the electric sector. Through innovation, we've been able to harness the elements: coal, natural gas, water, wind, and even the atom to generate the energy that our customers and the country need. Yesterday, a number of us heard the Speaker of the House say we're poised at the beginning of a new American renaissance, and that among other things, that renaissance would help rebuild the American manufacturing sector. We in the electric sector are going to be there side by side to help and support that. In our sector, we've used innovation, we've used innovative technologies to reduce emissions. Electric utilities have been able to cut the annual emissions of both sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides by about 70%, 70% since 1990, even while demand for electricity increased over that time by 37%. That is extraordinary. We know innovation will always be key to our progress, but to deliver that innovation and to achieve what's possible, we need to invest, and we are investing as an industry. The latest projections show that our capital expenditure will average about $85 billion per year from 2012 through 2014, and these investment levels are about double what they were even 10 years ago. So we have been stepping up to meet expectations from our customers, to strengthen the network, to build the capacity necessary to meet current demands, and to begin to lay the foundation for the future. Notably, the final investment levels, even for last year, when the numbers are all tallied, are expected to be about 14% over what the projections had initially been. At Northwestern Energy, we're proud to be that we continually invested. In fact, we invested more over the period of the Great Recession in our network, in our service territory, than had been the case previously. And from the data, the same appears to be true across the industry. As an industry, we are investing where we serve, we are investing where we live, we are investing here in the United States. The industry is going into what really is a build cycle, again, with much higher investment than in recent history. And then looking ahead, the Rattle Group, for example, estimates that the power industry is going to need to invest around $2 trillion by 2030. So we're investing to maintain and enhance our existing infrastructure, all of us are, as well as to meet new demands. We're investing to continue the great success we've had with our demand-side management and our efficiency programs. A brand new study co-sponsored by IEE found that electric utility efficiency programs saved 107 terawatt hours. That's terawatt hours of electricity in 2011. That's enough to power over 9.3 million U.S. homes for a year. We're investing to meet ever-increasing regulatory requirements. And just think about what that list might include. At the top, environmental, reliability, security, including cyber and potentially physical security. We're investing to continue making the grid smarter, more efficient, and more resilient. And that prospect will animate, again, much of the discussion this afternoon. At the same time, as a sector, we're facing some very real challenges. First, even as our investment requirements increase, the projected demand growth over the next 20 years is probably modest to flat. So the way that we've typically been able to maintain affordability and rate stability while investing is under some real pressure. In a sense, we are the victims of our own success through very, very good demand-side programs. The nation's economy, although we hope moving in the right direction, is still just regaining its footing. And the financial metrics today, sector-wide, are much less forgiving than they were in the 1980s, for example. There are multiple risks that are increasing. Credit ratings are lower. ROEs are under significant pressure. And investors and analysts are very closely watching both trends across the sector and the challenges faced by each of us as individual companies. Now, I don't want to dampen the afternoon's great energy, and Tom made the point that he's an optimist. Well, it's the nature of this industry that plans and makes commitments decades into the future to be optimistic. That really is who we are. It's also the nature of the part of the country way out west where I live and where we're so fortunate to serve at Northwestern. But the truth is that we do face significant challenges, and it's vital to have what I think of as an action-oriented optimism that's grounded very firmly in a realistic assessment of the situation that we face. But if our ancestors hadn't been optimists, they never would have crossed the oceans or explored the frontiers. On the other hand, if they hadn't been realists, they wouldn't have survived. Either way, if they hadn't been both optimists and been realists, we certainly wouldn't be having this meeting in this building today in what, of course, was at least at one point a swamp, and some would say on some days maybe still is. But just like our ancestors, it's also important to realize that we can't do it alone. Our customers, and this was the core of Senator Wyden's great remarks, our customers need to understand the value of what we do, or maybe we shouldn't be doing it. And also, we need support from our state and federal regulators, and that's going to be crucial for us to complete the transformation we've begun. And I think it's notable that I'm the third person in this, what is still a very short meeting, who's highlighted the importance of the partnership, the relationship between the regulators, investment community, and us as the service providers. We are, as a sector, regulated soup to nuts by both state and federal regulators. Policymakers and regulators create the environment in which we earn or do not earn an appropriate return. And their decisions drive whether and on what terms we'll have access to equity and debt capital. To move forward, we really do need to refine the utility-regulator relationship. Tom made a similar point just a moment ago that the words innovation and regulation are more often used in the disjunctive than in the conjunctive, and there are good reasons for that. But policy and regulation set the terms on which we can invest in the system to serve our customers and meet public policy goals, and can take thoughtful and really very diverse approaches to innovation in the services that we provide. So it's not a stretch to say that the current generation of state and federal energy regulators have never experienced a change quite potentially so disruptive. And in some ways it does look like changes that have affected other sectors in recent years. But if you think about what's happening right now, technology and policy coming together in so many ways, at so many different places in the network, and potentially affecting such a diverse group of stakeholder interests, and especially including our very diverse customers. So to achieve our long-term goals, we and our regulators together must focus on and balance two closely linked subjects. And there are a number of telecom veterans in the room here I recognize. I'm going to steal a phrase from the telecom lexicon, pots and pans. And in energy, we need to strike the balance between our version of POTS, plain old transmission service, let's say, and PANS, plenty of amazing new stuff. We need both. We need to understand what grid transformation means today, and we have to sensibly, thoughtfully engage in the world that really is changing around us. And that can be pretty daunting. But the electric industry's basic infrastructure, the poles, substations, transformers, underground and overhead cable, the back office systems, the IT system deployments, and especially the great people, the dedicated people who run that system, remains the essential foundation of smart grid innovation. That's the POTS, and you need the POTS in order to go out and also realize the opportunities of the PANS. So it's critical for us to clarify the benefits, the challenges, and the realistic timelines for our smart grid initiatives early and often, and to ensure that regulators and especially customers, again, back to Senator Wyden and the customers, are aware of the changes, understand on their own terms, terms that have value to them, the reasons for moving ahead in a particular way. So we have to work in partnership with our regulators. We have to help them earn the confidence necessary to support our projects, to support the technology. We can share the successes honestly from around the country with our own regulators, discuss the challenges, and level about the failures. But ultimately, what we need to do is demonstrate value to our customers. Similarly, among utilities, it's a critical part of the continuous education process, the learning process that has such value to each of us that we're able to share. Tom Farrell, Tom Kuhn, the great leaders in this industry, thank you very much for what EEI does to facilitate that kind of sharing. You saw really a remarkable commitment nationwide within the utility sector to come together with storm response after Sandy. The comment was made there probably isn't another industry that can come together in the way this industry can, with that level of dedication to help out customers for any of our members. That's a remarkable thing. That's the same kind of spirit that you see as we're kind of marching through the challenges of smart grid all together. So hats off to EEI for everything that you do. And I think that deserves some applause. Now, as we've discussed the evolution of IEE over the months, I've suggested a few steps that might help us move together, and I'll close with this. I think this, again, does hopefully make some links between the regulator, investment community, customer, and ultimately what we do in our networks. First, as many others have said, we should think about the overall goal as energy productivity. I think that does a better job of capturing really what we're about than energy efficiency. And I also think that's very consistent with this idea of entering potentially a new, an American energy renaissance, productivity. Second, think of our companies as providing and enabling energy services as well as providing the essential infrastructure over which many of those services are provided. Third, work to develop the public policies that support business and operating models that are consistent with providing both energy services and investment in essential infrastructure while continuing to meet our obligations to all of our stakeholders, including customers, shareholders, employees, and policymakers. The current policy system is under stress almost everywhere and is cracking or beginning to break in very many places. This is the time to get it right when we're still at the front end of this tremendous change. Fourth, develop the business models and the operating models that get the job done efficiently, profitably, and dynamically. And this is an area where so many of you in the room can really contribute as we work through the way to continue to provide these services. Fifth, finally, and most importantly, listen to our customers. The customer is the most critical stakeholder in our energy future. We'll be hearing a lot about the customer this afternoon. So much of what you see outside of this room really is focused on surprising and delighting our customers. And ultimately, what customers demand will unlock the full potential of the future and will drive innovation and change. Finally, I do want to recognize our technology partners. Utility R&D budgets are very limited. We can't keep pace with customers' expectations without the help of dozens of technology companies such as the ones here today. We value our partnerships. Many of those partnerships are on display right outside this room, And we also particularly value the great work of the Electric Power Research Institute, which is our R&D leader. EPRI plays a key role, a critical role in technology development and adoption in the utility area in this nation and indeed increasingly around the world. So thanks again for joining us today. The innovative technologies you'll hear about and see are transforming the power grid, and they're transforming our business. They're helping us build a more reliable, more efficient, more productive future for our customers and for all of the communities that we serve. So IEE, the Institute for Innovation, Electricity and Efficiency, and our technology partners will play key roles in informing our energy future. It's going to be challenging. It's also going to be exciting. And if it all goes as best as it possibly can, it's going to be a lot of fun as well. So today is just one more step, and it's an early step, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.